Hello there. You're going to hear a little bit of piano practicing in the background because that's just how we roll around here. But I wanted to get this video out to you, so I didn't want to delay any longer. Sorry to make you dizzy as I go all the way through. We are trucking right along, and I can't believe we're already making the video for Unit 7, which is our final unit. Crazy how time flies, right? And just kind of to give you an idea of where we're headed into. I've already kind of previewed this, but the following, we have 2 weeks of week 7, but it's going to be deceivingly fast because of the Thanksgiving holiday in here. When we come back from Thanksgiving, it's basically the last week of class. So for that last week, we're going to be mostly just editing and getting things going. And I'll make one more video just to kind of give us that wrap up feeling. But so this is our second to last announcement video. Can you believe it? Okay, so here we go. We've got the discussion board this week. We're doing the discussion board and the blog, the initial tasks here. And on that note, if you'll notice, for week 2 of this unit, we're just exploring other people's wikis. We're not creating anything. So maybe this week you want to get your wiki house in order. What I mean by that is it would be nice if all of your wiki materials could be all dumped together, maybe in the final wiki spot, so that everybody can have a place to go and check things out. Or I'll look in a second and see if there's a good place for it in the classroom. We can all put them in the same place. Okay, so in your discussion board this week, you're saying, what do you most look forward to in your teaching writing? We've talked a lot about problems and problem solving, but we want to see the positive side. And then, let's be honest. We have some things that we're nervous about, or we dread, or insecure about. Maybe dread's not the right word, but kind of like the things that we most anticipate with joy and excitement, and the things we're most like a little bit nervous about. Just to kind of share those out, okay? And for our blog this week, it says that we talk a lot about engaging student learners, and we talk about student-led instruction. These are big buzzwords right now, and for good reason. I think we'd all agree that engaged students do better, and often when we have some choices and when we can feel like we're leading the process, we feel more in charge of things, and students do that too, and students do better because of that. So we also want to talk about higher levels of thinking. A lot of these new standards were written with the idea that we need to go beyond the basics, and we need to get students to synthesize and analyze and all that kind of stuff. So how can you see these ideals working out in your writing classroom? Could you brainstorm topics that might set a context for readers writing beyond an opinion, and maybe basically thinking more critically? I think students all have opinions. If you ask them, you prefer peanut butter and jelly or a ham sandwich, they can tell you which one they want. But how can we get them to think critically about their opinions? And second of all, what can we do to help students to collaborate? Okay, so we're going to brainstorm these activities, and what I mean by that is I want you to think about ways that you maybe could creatively get students to lead discussions, lead their writing process, work with one another, and communicate about topics that are sticky, like going beyond my personal opinion, and even handling topics that are either critical thinking or maybe even age appropriately controversial or difficult. It doesn't have to be controversy here. They could just be difficult things to work out. Maybe you want to even think about here, we've talked a lot about the editing process and how students may not be comfortable editing one another's work. That would be a topic you could handle in this way. But thinking about challenging students to think critically, work together, lead well, and communicate at a critical thinking level. Um, yeah, just I don't have anything definite in mind here. Just want you to think deeply about this. There's not a lot of new reading material this week. There's mostly, I'm going to take a little field trip to the classroom here. Um, it's mostly review time at this point. So if we look at Unit 7, it's pretty skinny. Is no new readings, just this video. And what I'd like you to think about doing is going back through some of these. I'll just highlight a few that have a lot of stuff in them, starting from the top. We did this Every Kid Needs a Champion, but there's a lot of really neat TED Talks, and a lot of you mentioned the possibility when we talked about techie teaching of finding videos that would inspire students. I also like to use the Kid President videos. Sometimes those can get overdone, but they usually have like a neat theme to them. You might want to jump down to just reminding yourself of Bloom's taxonomy this week because of the critical thinking piece that we're trying to consider this week. The Guide to Everything and Rubrics 2 is a really good link. This is the Kathy Schrock website. It's very rich. Explore Edutopia a little bit, maybe even subscribe to it. Read, Write, Think is just loaded with really good items for you. I believe when we got to this guest lecture, there's a resource list for resources from this teacher for younger children, and this excellent, just a wonderful teacher. You can look at what she has there on the National Writing Project, Writing Fix, vocabulary. A lot of these have K-12 Reader have many layers to them. There's no way graphite. We are teachers. Read, Write, Think again. There's no way you could possibly have absorbed all of that on the first time through, and I understand that. So even looking back through our Atwell textbook at her appendix of ideas and concepts that you think might be interesting, these are all, there's no new material at this point. I just want you to take time to marinate, absorb, review, and that kind of thing. Maybe something you kind of skimmed over before that you want to go back and revisit. Let me go back to our syllabus real quickly here. I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to show you where we were going to put the next wiki so you could start building that direction so that when we go and review each other's, everybody's is in the same place. So, okay, it looks like I did not create a spot for that, but if you could start maybe building in your final wiki portfolio. And if there's a problem with the wiki, the way I have it set up, if it's set up wacky like week 6 was, would you let me know? It's hard, the way the parameters show up for me doesn't always show that. But I want to show you a couple features here. Possibly it'll let me do it. As you start dumping your wiki into one place, taking all of the previous wikis into one place so that we can start review them. To make it available first, we each have one, and once we start creating it, I think, okay, here we go. If you can consider maybe organizing it by pages, consider maybe if you want more than one page for your wiki, or if you're going to try to put it all in the same place, and then this will be your index and then you can go and delete. So if like right now you're just copying and pasting in to have it all in one spot, that's fine. You can go and delete later and clean it up. And then the other thing that you might be interested in doing is there's an export function, and I think that you might even be able to export, you might not have to go in and make copy and paste each page, but you might have to also. So play around, tell me what you find out, because this is sort of new for me too. But I think it might be interesting. Even I'm like curious, I'm like, what's a widget? You know, I know what widgets are, but how does that work here? You could find some interesting tools. It's not too early to do that. Doesn't look like necessarily a thing I'd want to use personally. I guess the big thing is try to get your stuff in there this week so that into this spot this week. It doesn't have to be pretty yet, but so other people can go do some shopping and look around and see what you've got and give you some feedback before you actually do your final edit. So, anyway, just wanted to kind of show you that and hopefully get some time with it. Have a good week and let me know if you have any questions. The only thing you have to get done this week are your initial responses to the wiki and the discussion board. I'm not the wiki. The blog and the discussion board. And the wiki, I'd like you to have that ready to go at the end of the week so that when we go to make responses, they're all in one place so that we can go right to the final one to make our comments and reviews. Okay? Have a great week.